Some authors are rich in subjects and explore through their stories many different topics, like their country's culture, talk in detail about their history and philosophy, showing how it influences people through the characters they describe. Leo Tolstoy is one of those authors. He describes the impact on all his characters in his novels. This video will look at his red thread. A narrative thread connects all his works and runs through the themes he explores. The first thread is women. The female universe fascinates him. Women are the narrative engine that moves all his stories. Without them, there is no plot. Tolstoy has conflicting feelings towards his female characters. They are strong and make choices on their own, but at the same time can be rational, as if the author doesn't fully understand them and blame their choices on some illogical reason. Sometimes this duality of strength and incomprehensibility is shown with two different female characters confronting each other about love, family and life, presenting this complexity more precisely to the reader. The best example is Anna Karenina. She is the protagonist of the entire novel and the plot centers around her. She is refined, rational, confident and headstrong. At the start of the book, she is going to Moscow to help her sister-in-law deal with Hannah's brother's affair. She is on the side of reason and the importance of family. However, during this journey, Hannah falls in love with Vronsky. This event will push her towards irrationality. Some critics have defined it as a love madness. For him, she leaves her husband and son and accepts life outside of what is considered the norm. The more the story continues, the more jealous and possessive she becomes. One more thing that always fascinated Tolstoy is exploring religion and faith. The Christian faith had inspired Tolstoy throughout his life until his complete conversion in his later years. In all his works, religion is a fundamental part of the story structure, helping one or more characters decide what to do, using the gospel and faith as a guide for their behavior, achieving a sort of spiritual awareness that will define who they become. The best example is the character of Neklijudov in the novel Resurrection. A direct extract from the Gospel of Matthew, the famous Sermon on the Mount, unlocks in his mind the feeling that reciprocal love and peace are the only reason for men to live, and he will dedicate all his life to spreading this idea. The third element that is present in all his stories is nature. The natural setting is part of every single story of Tolstoy. He uses it to influence, through its description, the characters and the tone of the entire story. It's almost used as an extra character, suggesting to the reader how nature influences man, either as an element of equilibrium between man and happiness, or as a hostile force that is an obstacle to men and their desire. The best example is in War and Peace, where the description of nature is used throughout the novel to underline moods and feelings. An example is a change in the character of Prince Andrei after the war, especially after the Battle of Austerlitz. The battlefield covered in thick fog represents the lack of clarity in Andrei's mind. Who wants to be a hero and covered in glory, but at the same time is scared of death? However, after the battle, the limpid morning sky's description suggests he found clarity and peace in his choices. This was a view of the red threads that connect all Tolstoy works. On a personal note, Leo Tolstoy is an extreme complex author. Through his novels and short stories, he explored many different subjects, from philosophy to religion to history and personal relationships, to engulf the readers in extreme, intricate worlds and characters through his magnificent writing. In the video description, you'll find a link to a couple of novels, so you can check them out yourself. Onward to the next author!